but it's not like an Anabar, which is pretty light. These have some pretty good heft to them. This is the closest you're going to get to a real Brookie. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today, and we're doing another original recipe. We are combining the best of both worlds. Who likes chocolate chip cookies? Who likes fudge brownies? Well, you know what we're doing today? We're making both. We're combining them for some anabolic deliciousness called Brookies. You've heard of Brookies before. We've probably all had them. We're taking the best of both worlds, mashing them together, and we are going to make the best anabolic deliciousness dessert you have ever had in your entire life. We are not even going to go through the ingredients. I'm going to list them in the first pinned comment right below, but for right now, let's get right into it by mixing together our ingredients. Here we go. You guessed it, it's another one of those magical recipes where we're mixing together some dry ingredients, we're mixing together some wet ingredients. We do that twice. We combine the two for some anabolic deliciousness. So let's get things started with our cookie layer, and we're gonna put together the wet ingredients first. First wet ingredient we need is 42 grams of the I can't believe it's not butter. The light one. Negative scale trick, of course. 42 grams on the money. Next ingredient, we need 60 grams of the Greek yogurt. And with the itty bitty amount that's left on the spoon, we have 60 grams of the Greek yogurt in. It's been a quick minute, but she's back. We're going to be putting in 62 grams of our ricotta cheese, part skim. Next kind of wet ingredient is going to be our swerve brown sugar. I'm going to be putting in 75 grams. 75 grams on the money. Next, we need 30 grams of the egg whites. Slightly over, but we'll take it. Good enough. Then we need 2 grams of the vanilla extract. 2 grams in. And once you have all that in there, you just gotta mix it up. Once you have it all well incorporated, you can put this off to the side, and it's time to put our dry ingredients together next. Our first dry ingredient on our cookie layer here is going to be more sweetness, 50 grams of the swerve granular. Then 125 grams of our pre-measured and on the money all-purpose flour. Then 75 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. Casein protein powder, not whey, casein. Then we need 3 grams of the one ingredient to rule them all, salt. Then we need 3 grams of the baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda, 3 grams. Save a little for later, and we're done. And I'm just not in a sifting mood today, so I'm just gonna whisk everything together. Whisk until you think you've whisked enough, and then whisk some more. Now we have our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients all combined for our cookie layer. Now we're gonna add the two together in 3 separate batches. Batch number 1. Batch number 2. And batch number 3. And depending on the casein protein powder that you used, you should have a dryish type batter here, a little beach sandy texture to it. What we're gonna do is add in 50 grams of almond milk and then a little bit more at a time until we get the consistency that we want. Starting with 50 grams. My particular casein protein powder absorbs quite a bit, so we're going for 50 more. It's pretty close, but I'm gonna go 20 grams more just to be safe. As soon as you have this type of consistency, you know you've added enough moisture and the cookie layer is almost done. Next, we need to add in our mini chocolate chips. A little break in the action here. Just a reminder to smash the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and question for a comment down below. I am wondering, so you can't have a brownie and you can't have a chocolate chip cookie. What's your go-to for a dessert? What do you pick? Let me know, comment section. All right, back to the video. Pre-measured 35 grams of our mini chocolate chips. And you just fold them into the dough. I like using the mini chocolate chips, it just helps them disperse more amongst the dough. That way you're not gonna get any bites without a chocolate chip being included. And once those chocolate chips are all well incorporated into the dough, it's time to add this cookie layer into our baking pan. Have our baking pan here. Gonna use some non-stick cooking spray because we don't want these to stick to the bottom. That would be an anabolic travesty. High capacity non-stick cooking spray loaded. Fire away. Path of least resistance is to put some non-stick on the hands. Once you have the non-stick on your hands, it's very easy and not as sticky to spread out your cookie dough nice and evenly. By the way, don't you dare try this cookie dough or you will have none left for the recipe. As you can see, we do still get a little bit dirty, even with the spray. All right, cookie layer done. Now it's time to move on to our brownie layer. Round 2, mixing together some wet ingredients, mixing together some dry ingredients. So this time we're gonna start with our dry ingredients first. First up, we have 75 grams of our all-purpose flour, pre-measured and on the money, of course. Next, we need 75 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. Casein protein powder. Next, we need 35 grams of our swerve granular. Uh-oh, that's only 24. I got reserves. Then we need 15 grams of our baking cocoa powder. Then it's 1 gram of the ingredient that rules them all, salt. And our last dry ingredient, 1 gram of the baking powder. Next, we gotta combine all of our ingredients together. Still not feeling the sifting, so we will be whisking. And once you've whisked until you think you've whisked enough and then you've whisked some more, then you're done. Now for the wet ingredients, we're gonna start off by adding in 14 grams of the I can't believe it's not butter, the light one. $14 grams in. Then we need 150 grams of the non-fat Greek yogurt, plain, negative scale trick of course. And with that amount left on the spoon there, we have 150 grams on the money. Next up, we're using our ricotta cheese again. So glad it's back. We need 45 grams. Then we need 4 grams of our vanilla extract. And our last wet ingredient, we need 30 grams of our melted sugar-free chocolate chips. And once you have all those wet ingredients in there, you just want to mix them up. And once you have everything well incorporated, you should have a mixture that looks somewhat or exactly like this. Now it's time to combine our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients. Let's let the combining begin. We're going to do it in 3 separate batches. Batch number 1. Batch number 2. And batch number 3. And just like with our cookie dough, you're gonna have this dry beach sandy type of batter. That's okay. Like I said, every casein protein powder is going to absorb differently. If this happens to you, just gotta add some low calorie almond milk, which we will do again in 50 gram increments. And again, we're pretty close. Make sure you mix until you think you've mixed enough and then mix some more because it is deceiving. It will actually mix better than you think, but I'm gonna add in 20 grams more just to make sure this is on the money and we're good to go. Once you have a nice, moist, brownie batter here. This type of texture is what you're looking for. You know that you're good to go. Even if you think that your batter needs more than 50 grams at a time, trust me, add it at that increment level. If you go too much too soon, it can make the batter too soupy or things just won't mix right. 50 grams at a time, and if you think you need a little less, add a little less on the third go around like I did with 20 grams. Let's get this on top of our cookie layer so we can get these brookies cooking. So just like we did for our cookie layer, we're going to do with our brownie layer, putting it into the pan right on top of the cookie layer and then spreading it out. And once you have your brownie layer evenly dispersed across your cookie layer, you're ready to start baking. So we're gonna have our oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. We're gonna cook these for 20 to 25 minutes. Once it passes the toothpick test, we're gonna take them out, let them cool completely, and then it's over to the taste test table. So after 25 minutes, I've taken the Brookie sheet out of the oven. Now we're gonna let it cool completely. Then we'll cut these up and head right over to the taste test table. We're back at the taste test table again, and I could not be more excited than I am right now to try these Brookies. Oh my goodness, so many of them. So much anabolic deliciousness right in front of me. They smell so good. I already know what they taste like, and it's making it even harder not to start this taste test immediately, but unfortunately, I have to speak before I can try them. So, it's a little bit of work. It's basically you're making two recipes and putting them into one, but man, the anabolic deliciousness that you get when you are done is so worth it. You will not be sorry if you make this recipe. It is the best of both worlds. We all love brownies. We all love chocolate chip cookies. We're layering the two together. We're making some anabolic deliciousness. One thing you want to be aware of, I like my brownies and my cookies a little softer and undercooked. So these are going to be really fudgy, kind of almost all the way cooked but not quite, cookies brownie combination. If you like yours a little more solidified, in terms of your more traditional cookie and brownie texture, you're going to want to cook these for about 5 to 10 minutes longer, depending on your oven. 5 to 10 minutes longer is going to give them more of that classic cookie brownie texture. Let's jump right into our taste test now. I'm going to grab one of the corner Brookies because I feel like, you know what, the corner Brookies always get a bad rap. Like, so what if they're shaped like the corner of the pan? They still taste good. But if you guys want to get a close-up look as to what the Brookie looks like there, got that nice cookie layer on the bottom and that fudge brownie on top. And you can see one of the chocolate chips, a couple of the chocolate chips lingering there in the cookie. With no further ado, let's jump right into our taste test here. First bite, always the best bite. Here we go. Pure heaven. If you liked my fudge brownie recipe and you liked my chocolate chip cookie recipe, you can now have both at the same time. And I'm telling you, it is a slice of anabolic heaven like you've never had before. This is the closest you're going to get to a real Brookie with this much protein, this little fat, and this much guilt-free eating. God bless whoever came up with the idea to combine the two originally. Oh, the two flavors just mixed together so well. The key in those mini chocolate chips, especially for a recipe like this, where you're really spreading it out over a pan, it allows you to get a little bit of chocolate chip in every bite. I might as well finish this one off. Absolute deliciousness. Let's go with one of the middle pieces here. Picturesque Brookie right there. That's something you see in a cookbook picture right there. Like, we're making Brookies today. This is what it's supposed to look like. There it is. Oh my goodness. Let's try this one. Second piece. Here we go. Wow. Doesn't have that spongy type texture like you normally get from a protein cookie or brownie. Just the right amount of sweetness. Now, because we combined basically two recipes together, a little bit higher is the protein content. I say it about a lot of the recipes, but these anabolic recipes, it's often true. These things are pretty dense, so they come up pretty thick. So look at all these Brookies that you have here. If you're having two at a time, You have a great meal prep snack right here that you can have for the entire week. It's a deceiving amount of volume. You look at them, you say, oh, that's kind of small, I'm gonna be able to eat a ton of those. But it's not like an ANABOLIC, which is pretty light. These have some pretty good heft to them. Once you start eating them, there's just so much protein, it's gonna be extremely satiating. You're not gonna wanna have more than 2 or 3. I want you to try it. I wanna hear what you think about it. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm curious how they turn out for you, but it's gonna be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.